ashes rise up from the flames, standing in the wreckage, watching everything we made. Come out from the shadow, come out in plain sight. Nothing to lose, it's time to move into the light. Together, united, deny it or fight it, no more hiding anymore. Our story, we write it or lose it, we can't keep quiet anymore. 'Cause together we will rise, together we will rise, together we will rise. Can't wait any longer, it's our time, yeah, 'cause it's our time. Together we will rise, together we will rise, together we will rise. Can't wait any longer, it's our time, yeah, 'cause it's our time. Now we're standing indefected, rich in all that we're coming. While we're shouting at reflections, shouting out in the street. Yeah, it's time to rip the veil that covers everything. The talking heads that wanna make us blind. And when we strike back, shoot love into the skies. Together, united, deny it or fight it, no more hiding anymore. Our story, we write it or lose it, we can't keep quiet anymore. 'Cause together we will rise, together we will rise, together we will rise. Can't wait any longer, it's our time, yeah, 'cause it's our time. Together we will rise, together we will rise, together we will rise. Can't wait any longer, it's our time, yeah, 'cause it's our time. Prophecies were never written, they were carried in the flame. And now the world begins to wake, and the truth is coming alive, and we feel it in the silence. And now we're ready to ignite. Can't wait any longer, it's our time, yeah, 'cause it's our time. Together we will rise, together we will rise, together we will rise. Can't wait any longer, it's our time, yeah, 'cause it's our time. Thank you so much, you guys. I just got the word that they want one more song. So we can do Let the Freedom Ring. Is that cool? Awesome. So this song is just Let the Freedom Ring. Is everyone here a fan of freedom? It's kind of preaching to the choir. This is obviously what has us all together is liberty and freedom. Those are the values that I think we all have the right to have. And I think part of freedom is allowing others to think differently. And I think that's what I really like about coming here and to events like this is that we may not all have the exact same ideas. We may not all have the same opinions, but we allow each other to have those different ideas and opinions, and to have these conversations is important. I think bringing that culture, bringing that consciousness back of not being divisive, but being in a place of acceptance, even if we don't agree with someone else, I think is an important thing that did bring us all together. There was a time, even decades ago, where Republicans and Democrats could have a conscious conversation, and I think in the culture we're in right now, we're seeing a lot of that polarization, a lot of that separation, people in their echo chambers, people are stuck in their boxes, and everyone's on a team. Everyone's very tribalistic right now because of absolutism and very binary, dualistic thinking. And I think bringing us back to the nuance, bringing us back to the ability to respect each other's opinions, that's what liberty's about, that's what sovereignty's about, that's what freedom's about. So this song's called Let the Freedom Ring. In a world where I feel like there's a lot of division, a lot of separation, I think that what can bring us all back together is the heart, is listening, communication, and connection, and of course music is what I feel like is a powerful thing that can be really bridging the divide. It's a universal language, it's got love embedded in it, it's got the heart, and that's why artists, I feel like, do have a purpose in the movement to be able to bring people together. So let's do Let the Freedom Ring. You guys want to kick it for me? Thank you. How's everyone feeling out there? Put your hands together, CPAC. Let's go. Woo! Now we know we've always been free. Love each other even if we disagree. It's all inside. Shine the light and sing. Let the freedom ring. Now we know we've always been free. Love each other even if we disagree. It's all inside. Shine the light and sing. Let the freedom ring. Come on. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let the freedom ring. Let the freedom ring. Oh, bringing about how the world feels stuck and divided. So my brothers and sisters be keeping on fighting. Oh, what you gonna do to beat it and get up out of this mess? If only we remember who we are. Sing it again now, now we know we've always been free. Love each other even if we disagree. It's all inside, shine the light and sing. Let the freedom ring. Now we know we've always been free. Love each other even if we disagree. It's all inside, shine the light and sing. Let the freedom ring. Freedom ring. Let the free. Sing it with me now. Gonna let that freedom ring. Sing it now. Gonna let that freedom ring. Gonna let that freedom ring. Let the freedom ring. Gonna let that freedom ring. Gonna let that freedom ring. Gonna let that freedom ring. Thank you guys so much. a beautiful audience you guys are. Yeah. By the way, Bo, I didn't know you could sing like that. You got me right there. You got me right in the heart spot. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Y'all get up for Deepak one more time. We are going to take just a quick 1-minute break, and we will come back and have a kind of a panel discussion with all the artists tonight. If you see my cool shades, it's because these are Real America's Music shades. You can get some over here if you want. Make sure you get some from LJ, who's right there with the hat on backwards. These are great merch. They've got QR codes on them, so you can actually hear more from the artists that you're hearing from tonight. So don't go anywhere. Let's take 1-minute break. We'll be right back.
Kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you.
Don't hate nobody, I just won't kneel. I don't chase headlines, I live what's real. I raise my kids to think and pray, to know the cause before they say. I don't scare easy, I don't scare fast. It's God, grit, and guns, no fear in my chest.
Because of you, Real America's Music just released the brand new single, God, Grit, and Guns, and it's already climbing the charts. Now let's take it a step further. Go download the song right now, and you'll automatically be entered to win a special prize. If God, Grit, and Guns hits #1 on Billboard, one random downloader will receive the plaque, a real piece of music history. So what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code or search God, Grit, and Guns on iTunes and download it today. Let's run it up the charts.
God, grit, and guns. God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. God bless America, the home of the brave. All of the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die. God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. God bless America, the home of the brave. All of the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
Rav family, Real America's Music has a new track to push to the top of the charts. God Bless America by High Res. Let's show the left we're proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code or search God Bless America on iTunes today.
America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
All right, we are back at CPAC 2026. This was the Real America's Music Entertainment Hour. Y'all give a big hand for these performers one more time, if you could. Standing ovation. I love it. I love it. Well, we got Deepak, of course, Celeste, and Nicole. Thanks for being with me up here. We're just going to have a little chit-chat. What I want to know from all three of you, when was the moment you knew you wanted to be an artist? Nicole, you know? When did it happen?
Maybe when I was like 3 years old, standing on my mom's bathroom counter with a hairbrush, singing. Actually, no, it was when I was about 12 years old, and Tragic Kingdom came out with No Doubt, Gwen Stefani, and No Doubt hails from Orange County, which is where I'm from, and so I really connected with her, and I just remember being mesmerized. Who's not mesmerized by Gwen Stefani, right? I mean, come on now. So, yeah, I think I was about 12. It was quite a while ago.
Celeste, for you?
I started singing in church choir when I was 5, 6 years old. They couldn't get me out of the sanctuary or off the stage. So I think that's when my parents knew something was up, you know. And I auditioned for a Radio Disney group when I was 12 and got to perform in front of, like, opened for Raven Simone and Miley Cyrus that year. And that was like the first year of Hannah Montana. And I looked out and saw 11,000 people with glow sticks. And I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. So about 12 years old was when I decided, yeah, this is when I want to be a musical artist, yeah.
Deepak, how young were you when you found this out about yourself?
I mean, I was always doing music when I was young. I played violin starting with 6, but I think I didn't realize you could be a musician. You know, I grew up, you know, as a first-generation Indian. We were going to be either a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, or a computer scientist. So that's all I knew about. And so I went to school for pre-med and pre-law, but I was always doing music the entire time and loving music and always doing well in it, all the variety shows, all the school stuff, performing, doing Michael Jackson impersonations as a kid. But it was never in my mind like, oh, there was always a hobby. It was always extracurricular. So I think in college, when I sang in a cappella groups, I was doing all my pre-med and pre-law stuff, but on weekends I would do these concerts and I had a band, and every time I saw a crowd and felt the energy, like just like this, of this, that interaction between that we're sharing the energy, and because music is energy, and we're all sharing energy, and you guys are sharing it back with us. I think when I got that feeling, it was always more joyful and fulfilling and engaging than sitting in mammalian physiology class or criminology, criminal justice class. And so that was really when I realized it would be an actual career, and I started meeting people that had gone out to Los Angeles, and I was like, oh, you can actually do this for a living. It's not just a hobby. But I think I always loved it my whole life, but I think I didn't realize you could do it until I was in college and was getting bored with the other path I was on.
Now, have any of you seen the Plandemic series that Mickey Willis did? You saw that? Okay, Deepak wrote a lot of the music for that, and a lot of you may not know that, but he talked about this last night, and Deepak, I'd love to just go a step further on that and just say, you know, of course we know probably in your heart why you wanted to be a part of something like that, but you've also written a bunch of stuff for Disney too. You've done a lot of commercial mainstream stuff. So at what point in your life did you say, hey, I'm going to have to do some music that may be a bit against the grain, but I want something that aligns with who I really am in terms of authenticity?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. You know, I think part of it, the other part of the story is I was always very political. I was very interested in economics, free markets. I got into Ron Paul when I was really young, and that really opened me up to Austrian economics, free markets. And so I always had this passion, but it was always separate. It was always over here. You know, my politics, economics, history is over here. It's something I'm interested in. It's something I talk about. I love getting into conversations, engaging conversations about the future, society, infrastructure, and the world. And then music was always over here. And so there were always these two separate worlds. I was like, okay, I'm going to go do this politics, economics thing, be on the campaign, do activism. I was performing during the industrial hemp campaign, helping promote the Farm Bill, which was one of the first bipartisan bills back in 2008. And then, you know, when things started shifting in 2016 energetically, I found myself at a lot of rallies, at Trump rallies and everything like that. But again, I was just there as a person interested in civics, interested in stewardship, interested in government and history. And I was doing my Disney contract, and the worlds just did not, you know, they didn't go together. They didn't mesh. But in 2020, when the lockdown started happening, and I started seeing this is something that's actually affecting our lives, it started going, wait a second, there's a possibility for music to actually create an impact, not just be music entertainment over here and conversations over here. I was like, oh, we can actually bridge this. And when my buddy Mickey Willis made Plandemic, and you know, we've known each other for a long time, he's one of my best friends. We worked together on tons of other films outside of that. I was really proud of what he did, and I started seeing, you know, I started getting invited to events because I do have a background in science, math, all this health and wellness. I'm good friends with Bobby Kennedy for many years. He's actually going to be here tomorrow. He just texted me earlier. And it started, Bobby.
How many of you get random texts from Bobby Kennedy?
Yeah.
Deepak does.
So that's when it started. You know, there was a clip on the video of a Defeat the Mandates rally. That was a huge rally a lot of people knew about. That was really what did it for me, was showing up at that rally with my buddies. I was High Res, Jimmy Levy, myself, Brad from 5 Times August. There was a few of us that headlined these events, and then we had speakers on stage like Bobby Kennedy and many others. And I was like, this is where the music needs to be. This is the movement. It's standing up against lockdown, standing up against mandates, standing for freedom, and how music was a part of that. I was like, this is where I want to be. So I ended up just finishing my Disney contract and showing up at more events like this, which led me down to where we are now, where I'm just performing at a lot of these events, rallies, and anything around, you know, civics or freedom, or, you know, I'm all for it.
It was the heart and the brain for you, I guess, in a way. They kind of both kind of clicked.
Yeah, a little balance of right brain, left brain.
And Celeste, you mentioned growing up in the church and being, I same thing for me. I grew up in the church, was in the church choir, and I felt, I guess, for me that I was already aligned with God, had that kind of spiritual rudder, so to speak. How was it for you in terms of being an artist that was true to your core values?
it's interesting in the country music industry because, like you said, I grew up in the church. I don't drink. I was playing at a gig one time, and this guy came up to me. He was like, I don't have any idea why you haven't made it in Nashville yet. And he was like, here, you want a beer? I was like, I don't drink. He's like, oh, you're never going to make it in Nashville. Obviously, it was a joke. But nothing against alcohol or drinking or anything like that. But I've kind of had this straight, narrow path from the beginning of my life, my church experience, my music experience. And there are a lot of doors you unfortunately have to say no to. And you kind of have to use that spiritual discernment, pray a lot. There are some opportunities, big ones, that I've had to turn down because I didn't feel like that's where God necessarily would want me to go. But it has always been the driving force. I want my music to bring people closer to God and not further. Like, there are certain subjects I won't touch in music. And then there's others that I just want to make people happy with my songs. I want people to feel better after coming to a show or after listening to my songs. Like, let's say they come to listen to a sad song of mine or something, and it's about a breakup or an abusive relationship, and all those things happen to everybody, right? But I always try to, like, put a piece of that, like a turning point at the end of it where there's like a positive, there's a light at the end of that tunnel. And hopefully just bring positive inspiration to people and do that through my music and stick to those morals and what grounds me and what makes me who I am.
That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it does deserve a round of applause. Nicole, tell me about your trajectory. When did you know that you might have to step out from the herd and do something that meant, artistry-wise, something that was true to you?
Well, my path was also a little bit winding. I, like Deepak, was in Hollywood as well, and I did try to fit into the regular mold of Hollywood. I did kind of go against my own, not morals or values, but like, I was trying to create this image that I didn't really feel was really truly who I am at my core. And I worked with other artists who, looking back, I would deem them as pretty much kind of demonic. And it never really felt like I totally gelled with people in the mainstream industry. And I could never really figure out why. I always thought that it was something wrong with me and that I wasn't this and I wasn't that. And then it kind of hit me one day that it was for a reason, and I was never supposed to fit in, and I've always been close to God. And I went to Catholic school, and I always had those values instilled in me. And so it kind of always kept me one step back. And at the time I didn't understand it, and I used to get really frustrated about it. But now I realize that it was the Lord and it was His saving grace that was keeping me from going in too far, going in too deep. And I had this turning point where I just was getting so squashed by people with the egos and the attitudes, and I couldn't handle it anymore. And I said, I need to take a break, and actually went back to school. I became a massage therapist. I wanted to be in the healing world, and I wanted to have some peace in my life. And I did that, but right before COVID, right around the time when, right before COVID happened, Notre Dame went up in flames. And it was that moment that the Lord said to me, we are entering into the modern day holy war. And this was about 6 years ago. And I hadn't written a song in a long time. And I grabbed a piece of paper and I wrote that down. And that's where modern day holy war came from. But all of a sudden, I'm sitting on my couch and I'm strumming my guitar and I'm like, Jesus. And I'm like, I'm writing a song about Jesus? Like, what? But I heard the Lord talking to me, and I was obedient, and I just went with it. And now here we are. And I will say that at the Defeat the Mandates rally, that is where I saw this guy for the first time in my life up on that stage with Jimmy. And I was like, oh, my people. And I was like, I want to be friends with them. And you know what? Here we are. So amen.
Amen. And on that subject, Nicole, and I'd love for all three of you to weigh in, because I'm sure that it affected everyone differently, the death of Charlie Kirk. And, everyone takes grief and an event like that differently. However, I was very inspired by what we saw at his homecoming, if you will, the service. the music that uplifted people. And Deepak, you've talked about that too in terms of how we can be united. I'm afraid, unfortunately, that there are some who perhaps wished his demise, who don't want to be uplifting, who don't want to unite us. So I'd love for each of you to kind of speak about how that moment affected you, because I really felt everyone said this is a moment for revival. It's happening. It's happening in our country. What do we do? What is artist? How do we lead? So how did it affect you, and what do you think can come from it?
Yeah, absolutely. That was actually, I'm sure everyone can relate, that was probably one of the most memorable, affected days in recent times for me. I mean, I haven't cried like that in a long time, and it was really heavy, and just watching, and I was really close with that whole organization. You know, I've done Turning Point, AmFest many times, and been around that, been backstage with Charlie, and it was just really like close to home. You know, it was like, oh wow, this is someone that's a uniting entity. And again, it's not about agreeing with everything he says or not. It doesn't even matter. It's just his force was clearly a coalition force, and he was someone who brought people and was open to conversation with everybody on all sides. Would purposely, in fact, do that, and that's what I'm passionate about. I think that's what a lot of us here are aligned on, is the encouraging of open debate, open conversations, and accepting others that don't agree with us. And he was literally the embodiment of that on probably the biggest level, especially affecting the youth. So the fact that that happened was such a massive effect. But I think that happening also, again, God doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you need. You know, that phrase, well, clearly the people are responding to that. You know, the revival is a strong word. People are suddenly finding God, finding Jesus. A lot more. There's been an exponential rise in people going to church. There's been an exponential rise of people getting interested more in politics and civics. More younger people are following his example. And, you know, you're seeing the whole change my mind thing being duplicated by other youth showing up at school, setting up their desk, doing what he did, and being courageous. It's a very courageous thing to do, knowing that someone that was doing that literally got assassinated while doing that, and people are courageous enough to still do that even more and double down on that. I think that's a strong sign of people awakening, stepping into to conversations, to debate, and to just learning and stepping into civics, stewardship, going back into the Founding Fathers, the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton. So these are important documents that most people in this new generation haven't read. There's been a lack of education of those original founding philosophies for a reason, because if you erode those root philosophies, you actually uproot the foundation of what freedom is about. And so that's why so many people are lost. There's so much more atheism. There's so much more loss of awareness of what free markets even are, demonization of capitalism, and increasing communism, right? That can only come by taking away the education. So I think of the fact that now people are interested and inspired to be more educated, follow his example. Charlie is very educated, and a lot of people around him are starting to do that, and especially the youth do it, because that's what it's about. It's the next generation stepping into that. I think we're going to have a much more powerful country, a much more powerful world, because it is the next generation that really carries the torch.
Well, for me, when I learned he was assassinated, it hit me hard. I just didn't do anything for a week. Like, I felt like I was numb. And then when I watched the service, I remember Phil Wickham coming out and started the first song, and I just cried for 2 hours straight. What I loved about that is that Charlie would go to campuses and he would discuss, like, he had an open table conversation. He wanted to humanize politics. Like they say, like, when you do online bullying or whatever, there's a face behind who you're bullying. There's like a real person there. And I thought he brought humanity to opinions and to politicians or whatever, whoever you voted for. He brought a humanity to that. There's a reason people vote for who they vote for. And whether you agree with it or not, each person has their own reason for that. And to me, that's what inspired me to complete my song, Faith and Freedom. I was very nervous the first few times I played it. Just the fact that I had to sing about a man being shot because someone didn't like what he had to say. Those are the words in the song. The fact that scared me to sing about shows how divided we are as a country. Like, that people could actually think that was okay. And so, to me, I just wanted to bring unity with my song Faith and Freedom and really represent what Charlie did. And again, no matter, like, if you agree with his opinions or not, I love the fact that he just engaged in conversation. And that's what I want to do.
It's amazing that both of you, Deepak and Celeste, just said, even if you don't agree with them, which is exactly what Charlie was saying. Yeah. And then you have someone who assassinates him for his very opinion, standing up for your right to disagree with him. Nicole, I want you to talk about the effect of his death on you and musically what happened afterwards.
That was a heavy moment, and it was a moment of disbelief, and it was a moment that feels almost like it was a dream. Like, it doesn't feel like it was real. And a very frantic day, very emotionally. I mean, we were all very united that day. You know, people calling each other and not knowing exactly what the outcome was going to be, and just emotionally charged. And I actually had the blessed opportunity to be there with Rav at the memorial, be there in the box, and I will say that it was one of the most holy moments I've ever had in my whole life. Like, I've never felt what I felt, and it's almost kind of hard to describe. It's kind of like a you had to be there moment. But, you know, the human heart gives off a frequency, right? And how far does that frequency extend? 6 feet. How far did they want to keep us from one another? 6 feet, right? So now here we had thousands of people all together, everyone's hearts beating at the same rate, all worshiping together. And the worship was, my jaw kept dropping as people were coming, as the artists were coming out on the stage, because I'm going, that's one of my favorite artists, and that's one of my favorite Christian artists, and oh my gosh, and Phil Wickham, and it was, you know, as exciting as it was also very sad, and at the same time, so it was just kind of a roller coaster of emotion. But I left there thinking, wow, like, talk about Charlie talking about just wanting to be used by God in any way possible, and this was the ultimate the martyrdom. Like, if you could have asked Charlie while he was alive, hey Charlie, you know, would you ever want to be he would probably say yes, knowing him. And he woke so many people up, and even though we have many voices who have kind of eclipsed the revival that was really taking off, we've had some voices, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. And I look forward to seeing how we can each infuse Charlie's energy into the projects that we do separately, together, and together we rise. And and you know, the thing about Charlie was he was very disarming. Even when you could see him, he would get a little excited when someone would really challenge him. You could still see him kind of check himself and have that discipline. And that's the thing about Charlie, is he was so disciplined. And if we could all be even an ounce of disciplined as Charlie was, then automatically the world would be a better place.
Amen to that. Well, before we conclude our panel here, we're ending on an uplifting note, and thank you for that, Nicole. I want to acknowledge the folks who make this what you just saw possible, because you see this beautiful stage, you see these beautiful lights, the music. It was pretty much done seamlessly. I don't know if you guys noticed that, because you're watching a really great show, but there are people all over there in the control room behind you that made all this possible. And I'm not going to mention other networks that are here that are not doing this, but this is a pioneer. This is a paradigm shifter. So I think we want to acknowledge, of course, in the back there, Robert Sigg, the owner of Real America's Voice and Real America's Music. Vinny Buda right next to him.
Rob.
Parker Sigg, his son, that's clapping over there, who's making everything technically happen. Colin Christie, Mo, Mason, Colin, LJ Fino that you see back there, who's in charge of Real America's Music. Everybody that's back here is what's making this possible for you. And just understand, guys, nobody else is doing this. This is why it's important to take the culture war. This is the minds of geniuses at work. And it's important for you guys to understand that it takes a whole army of people to make this happen. So that concludes our panel. Let's give a big hand for Lady No Grady, Celeste Kellogg, and Deepak. Thank you guys for tuning in.
And Bo, the singer as well. Give it up for Bo, everybody.
Thank you guys. Thank you for coming in. And make sure you're tuning into Real America's Voice and Real America's Music for all the releases that'll be coming out in the coming months, okay? Thank you all for being here.
There we are, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, joining the network now, live from CPAC. Man, oh man, always some good stuff from Diaper Diplomacy. We'll do some more stuff, of course, next week with them.
Did you notice the Mitch McConnell baby is like 12 years old? He's going through puberty.
Yeah, funny. Good stuff. Good stuff, of course. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Paul Nolan has got some news. Let's do that now. Paul, what do you got for us?
Well, if this shucks his clams, it's going to bake your potatoes.
Oh, good. I like my
The man
potatoes
found
poached.
guilty in 2021 in San Francisco for the death of Grandpa Vicha is now to be released. The brutal kill the beloved grandfather, his name is Grandpa Vicha, the neighborhood knew him as, was killed by a man who was released on probation. Antoine Watson, who's 24 years old, acted without provocation when he attacked this lovely old man, and everybody loved him in the neighborhood, 84-year-old Vicha Rantakapati. And, he was just minding his own business in front of his house. And show this clip, Aaron, and see what this nonsense. I mean, this poor man is just by himself and gets drilled and killed.
Oh my God.
And this judge let him out because she thought it would be too hard on this boy emotionally.
Wait.
So she thought it would be a good idea to release him, and just another example of bad judges. A bartender overserves someone, they lose their life savings or go to jail, and these judges have absolutely no culpability. It's extremely disgusting, and it's even more. It gets more frustrating.
My question to you is, who was the young person that was just shown on the screen?
That's Antoine Wilson, and
that's Antoine Wilson,
24-year-old guy just drilled the 84-year-old man.
For what reason?
Who looks like what was she released because she went through some transition? The picture was a judge.
That's the judge who released him, and the kid who did it. Just
he had a rough childhood, Paul. He has a
Yeah.
Now, can I jump in? There's this is all race related. I'll be the big bad white guy here. There's a black man in Kentucky who killed a little white boy. He got out 6 years earlier. There's a white girl in jail in Kentucky for dropping N-bombs. And I'm not saying I support, the racist slurs, but I really don't support killing children. Like, that's much worse to me.
Yeah.
This is nothing but race. They also have something in Kentucky called shock something. I forget what it is. Shock parole or something. Where they, you think you're going away for 10 years ago. Shock parole, you're only going for one. Get you back on the street killing people because we need to destabilize the nation for the communists. That's exactly what this is. This has nothing to do with, this guy had a rough childhood. That's the excuse they use. They're letting people out everywhere. There's in Kentucky, again, some transmabob was, I don't even want to just say sexually assaulting a toddler and didn't go to jail.
Oh, my God.
Because, trans. It's the cultural Marxists. They want to keep their animals on the streets, raping and killing, because it's all part of the plan. That's the only reason they're doing it. And they're going to use racism, slavery, or, the trans, the Decepticon had a rough childhood or something. It's all about destabilizing the nation. It happens, and that's in California, right?
Yeah, that was in California.
Yeah,
that's ground zero for this stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. And ground zero B is in New York City.
Yep.
Here's another story. An 83-year-old veteran is clinging to his life, but he passed away. This other story. Suspect Baron, he just passed away, by the way. Baron Hernandez pushed another man, 30 years old, onto the tracks before moving to an elderly veteran. Let's show, this is the clip of the man who survives, videoing the guy who killed this elderly man. And again, we'll see. This man was deported 4 times, and they still let him out on the street. Do you have that clip also? Because I had the 2 clips here. If not, it doesn't really matter. But this is the man who goes down first. This old timer comes over to see how he's doing, and now he gets pushed in. The video stops. But that 83-year-old man is now killed. He was survived. He battled for his life, but died from all the ruptured organs. And it's just more disgusting behavior, and it's anti-whiteism. The racism we see is reversed against white people to the end of it. And it doesn't matter. And it's just, I think everybody's just sick and tired of it. It's BS. And as you said, it is part of a social engineering cultural war.
Yeah, it's race fatigue.
It's race fatigue.
Because people are just tired of it. I don't care what color you are. You kill someone or you rape a child, you should never see the light of day outside of bars.
This guy, Hernandez, who did the pushing here in New York City, his charges have included attempted murder, attempted assault twice, and reckless endangerment. He's been deported on 4 different occasions and came right back. This is absolute lunacy. You're going to tell me this guy's not a gang-related thug?
Yep. And you know what? If that had been a white guy who threw a sweet old black man onto the tracks or killed a little black kid, this nation would be burning.
Yep.
Or was a former veteran who saved a bunch of people on a train who, from Long Island over here.
Yeah, that's right.
From the black guy who was going crazy who wanted to kill people.
Yeah,
What happened to him? He probably got more prosecuted than any of these real criminals will be.
Right. Daniel, what was his name? Daniel Perry, what was his name? I'm burning out. But anyway.
Daniel Penny. Yeah.
Penny. He did such a fantastic job subduing somebody. Yeah. And now he, and he's made a martyr of. It's just the endless hypocrisies is too much to take. That's what we talk about, like 4 or 5 tiers of justice.
Right.
The oligarchs have no accountability, and then, we're beating it to death. Let's move on. Because the story really
but like Kevin was saying, it's part of the plan, right? It's because, let's face it, a guy in California, 2021, he killed this guy in 2021, and he's walking the streets. Are you kidding me?
For me, the quote from the judge, I think it would have been emotionally too difficult for this young man to handle. Like, really, this is what we're...
Well, that's I guess you forfeit your emotions when you're killing people. So you kind of don't get... You shouldn't be getting that opportunity to feel your feels.
Yeah, it's just endless.
Remember the talking point that came out under Joe Biden? The existential threat to this nation is white supremacy. Now, I'm not defending Klan clowns. I happen to know there's roughly 5,000 people in the Klan, same number of caged tigers. So every time you see a tiger in the United States, you've probably seen someone in the Klan. But they came out with that, and it's a psyop, because that's what they all started saying. White supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy.
Yeah.
Right. We never heard of the Proud Boys, but all you heard about was the Proud Boys endlessly around the clock. You never heard anything about them. And now they're getting front page news. And if you don't even know what they do.
35%. I allegedly may have known some Proud Boys in my day. 35% aren't even white. Their leader isn't even white.
Right.
Enrico Torres?
Yeah,
Torres. He's not white.
And then you've got, of course, anytime someone of color or different who's not white stands up for somebody, it's like, oh, well, you're a white supremacist. The person is black.
Yeah.
How can they be a white supremacist? But in the Democrats' eye, that's possible. They become Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah.
Right?
Remember the guy from India drove a U-Haul truck into the White House when Biden was president, and they went, white supremacy, white supremacy. And they took out a Nazi flag, which you could tell had been folded, that they just got from Amazon.
Yeah. And they laid it on the ground.
Yes.
Yes.
You know it's a psyop when Ben Carson is the new face of white supremacy.
Right. Or Herman Cain was.
Yeah.
I think they called him one, too. Amazing.
That was great.
Crazy. Hey, we don't have a lot of time in this segment, but I know, Kevin, you've got some stuff you wanted to go over. You got anything quick for us?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's see. We'll do this one. This one's a quickie. How about we'll do this. So they've got the minimum wage in California, and they said, well, we raised it to $20. Let's see what's happened. What could go wrong? Well, it's funny you should ask what could go wrong. A lot has gone wrong. 22,600 people have lost their jobs so far. They were fast food workers, and they lost their gigs because they couldn't afford to pay them. And other people are still working there, but they're doing fewer hours. And a lot of these restaurants aren't open as long as they used to be because the ones that are, franchise, people own them, they can't stay open. So they're going out of business. Now, I've always said tyranny comes disguised as virtue. They said $20 minimum wage because, the workers. It wasn't about the workers. It was about tearing down capitalism. Now we're seeing fewer people working, meaning more people on welfare. Gee, when you put people on welfare, what happens? Well, you own them. You tell them what they can do, where they can live, and they will never rise up against you because they know they will not eat if they do. That, in my opinion, is the plan here. And look at other things fell. Prices went up, 6% increase at this place, 7% increase at that restaurant. And one owner said, I've owned this place of mine for 40 years. There's no way I could open today under these rules. I just would not have made it. All right. And a lot of these places have closed down. So of those 22,600 people lost their jobs, many of them were because the restaurant just said, I can't stay open anymore. Sorry, boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what? Donnie wants to make it $30 an hour in New York City?
It's all a ruse.
Right?
Yep.
Amazing. But meanwhile, they'll shell out $85,000 for a homeless person.
Yep. Right. And every corporation's leaving.
Right. Crazy. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Slick Rick has got a sports update. We'll see what's going on in everybody's brackets. Big game between St. John's and Duke's going on right now.
Alabama, Michigan, too.
And Alabama, Michigan also underway. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on Friday night, and also LI News Radio, linewsradio.com. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Stay there. Arizona.
Yeah, they got
Arizona looks good.
They look good, but they got a little dicey. They looked good last night.
Dude, they won by 20.
No, but they had one night they had a tight game. Although in the beginning they had a tight game. I need Michigan to beat Alabama though. Ooh, I can't have that. I'll be out. They're trailing by 2 at the half. I hope that's not over.
Something is wonky with the chat at Facebook.
On Facebook? Well, it just came. It should have just come on.
Are we back? We're still off the network,
we joined
right?
the network.
Are we?
Yeah.
We're on? Okay.
Yeah.
Can't tell. I didn't know.
Let's go to the socials. Let's see.
Patty Jamcat. All right. Coming in on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes.
Yeah, she says, what'd she say?
I don't know.
Slick, you look like the night sky with that coat. Awesome. Thank you, Patty Jamcat. What else we got?
Over on the Rumble Rant, Chrissy Cat, Zink and Ivy, Milan, John D, 6307, Hassan Pfeffer.
Mr. Craig says, I see Delgado is back.
Hassan Pfeffer. You know what?
Hassan Pfeffer.
Hassan Pfeffer.
Hassan Pfeffer.
Patty Jamcat, Carlton, all Patriots from the great state of Michigan, may I say.
Have they come out to see you when you're there performing?
A lot of them do.
It's great.
I don't know if I should name names, but some people, met some friends, drove from the Detroit area to, where was I just? Erie, PA.
Wow. See, Sebastian Maniscalco's playing.
Hey, Coral Reef, 30Q. I did some snorkeling on a coral reef. Yeah,
he did.
It was very cool.
At Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
Coral Reef.
The kid on SNL who does the Sebastian Maniscalco impersonation is hysterical.
Joe Ed Jr.
Yeah.
Home Ret TX.
Look at this. Duke's making a comeback.
As much as I hate that show, I know. St. John.
Trying to get better.
St. John's is
Ma Driver American. Bill of Rights.
They went into
TJK. What?
Masonry business.
Nobody's ever said that's a good one, right?
No,
Steve's gone into the masonry business.
I've heard it. But yeah, you've laid it out.
Oh, you're laying bricks, yeah, but look at this. Oh, look at this. Come.
That was a foul, right? He reached in there?
It had to be.
All right, Slick, we'll do some sports here.
Okay.
So are we going to get back? We're getting back on track?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get back on track here.
Yeah, because I'd like to be able
back on track.
Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcome back to the program. Also broadcasting on 103.9 LI News Radio, linewsradio.com. And, of course, on all the socials. Thank you for joining us, especially those of you in the new Live from Studio 6B app, the Appsters.
The app is great.
The app is awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, all right? Maybe we'll do a little after thing tonight for the
I don't know, maybe.
For the app.
I don't know.
We've been doing it a little bit. It's very nice.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But let's do some sports right now. Slick Rick's got sports live from Studio 6B. Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout and save yourself a lot of money on some great stuff from Mike Lindell and the people at MyPillow. Slick, what do you got for us? I'm waiting.
Well, before we get to the men's Sweet 16, let's talk about the women. Big upset just earlier tonight. Vanderbilt has been upset by number 6 Notre Dame. So number 2 gets knocked out 67-64. UConn for the women, of course, they won by 19 over North Carolina. So checking out the women there. And then with the Sweet 16 right now, good one. St. John's was up by 10, but now Duke has come roaring back to cut it to 3. 57-54, 11:46 to go there in the second half. And another good game at the half. Alabama, number 4, Alabama leading number 1, Michigan, 49-47. And I need Michigan. If I lose Michigan, my bracket is busted. So we'll see what happens. Michigan State taking on UConn, 9:45. And Tennessee, Iowa State, the great Iowa State, will be taking on a 10-10 tonight. NHL action, Red Wings over the Sabres, 3-1. Rangers 4-1 over the Blackhawks, both end of 2. About 4 minutes to go in the NBA now. We'll go to the NBA here. Pacers over the Clippers, 83-74, 3 to go there in the third. Hawks 60-55 over the Celtics at the half, and also at the half, Cavs 81-46 over the Heat. I want to get to this story here. Poll finds sports fans increasingly upset that games are going into paywalled services. I know I'm annoyed. It's costing me a fortune this year to watch games when I used to be able to just watch them on regular broadcast TV. This is Warner Todd Houston and Breitbart. Sports fans are growing increasingly annoyed that their favorite games are being showed behind paywalls, and they are crying foul over the trend. A new Fox News survey of sports fans finds that they are getting fed up with the rush to spread games and events onto internet streamers and services. The survey shows that 72% of sports fans and 60% of those who say they are not sports fans feel that sporting events should be required to remain on free broadcast television, not locked behind paid streaming services. Only 27% of sports fans and 38% of non-fans said the games are going behind paywalls is fine with them. Probably half of them work for a company that does a paywall. The paywall issue is so vexing to fans that nearly 6 in 10 sports fans say they're skipping games rather than subscribing to a streaming service. 1/3 replied that they had done this multiple times. Nearly half, 47%, also said they skipped games or events because it was too difficult to find out where they were being shown, and they have given up looking for them. On the other hand, 46% said the diverse services have not stopped them from finding their favorite teams and events. The survey taken between March 20th and March 23rd, 2026, sampled 1,001 registered voters, 73% of whom said they were sports fans. Results among sports fans have a sampling margin of error of give or take 3.5 points, and among non-sports fans, 6 points. So very interesting. I tell you, I'm tired of this paywall. You know, you want to watch the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Day? You have to subscribe to Netflix for $24 a month. Otherwise, you can't watch your Cowboys because that game's only on Netflix. Opening night was the Yankees, right? That was on Netflix. Now, if you're in the New York market, though, they would be on the New York channel, so you do have that. But if you're a fan of an out-of-state team, as I am with 3 of the 4 teams, only the Islanders are the only New York team that I could care about, like the Sixers or the Reds or the Cowboys, I got to go to streaming services. You know, it's $10 a month here, $25 a month here, $18 a month there to watch 3 different games. I got to have a $60, fee. I think it's ridiculous. I really do, and I agree. I agree with folks. These players and these games, the money they make on these on TV is incredible. You ever watch like these Final Four games? If you switch to another game, every time I turn it on, there's a commercial. I swear it's programmed. Either that or these commercials, like every 3 minutes is a commercial. So all the money they make in NILs and these quarterbacks are making $60 million. They're paying receivers $40-50 million now, right? It's incredible. So to me, when is enough, guys? I know never. We're a capitalistic society.
I had a website a long time ago. I was fed up with this in like 2012. I had the URL fanstrike.com. I gave it up because I was never going to do anything with it. But every fan should really just strike. Say, we're cutting you all off. We're not watching for a year because I'm fed up with it too. I mean, you're chasing Paramount. Now you got Hulu and Peacock. I mean, everybody's getting $15 a month from me. I think you're billing me $15 now.
Yeah, just to text me once in a while to say, hey, what's going on?
But just like back in the day when Colin Kaepernick took a knee and everybody was boycotting the NFL, well, you see how much that hurt them, right? There's just no way people are going to give up watching their games.
Right. I mean,
even guys who say they weren't watching the NFL anymore, they're in their closet going.
Well, I mean, I can see why. I can see why. And, I'm on board with most of what you're talking about, but someone like you actually benefits from the stream because you're never going to see the Cincinnati Reds on a local station in New York unless they're playing the Mets.
Yeah.
Right? You're never going to see that game anyway. So you'd probably, if you were a diehard fan and say, I don't miss any games, you'd probably shell out that money. But I understand what you're saying.
The Netflix game, though,
But I understand what you're saying, because with the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving, I'm sorry, but that's a national game.
Yeah, Christmas
That
Day.
should not be hidden. That should be on a network, right?
Definitely.
without a doubt.
Definitely. So it's going a little too far, no question.
Women's basketball still on every channel. No one watching.
Yeah, that's the only one that's not being streamed.
That's the biggest upset in sports. The only thing I can watch is WNBA.
I gave them a nice. Yeah, well, I'm WNBA. Forget it. But the women's, the college basketball is fantastic.
And the female sports get paid less because we're all misogynists. Nothing to do with the game sucking.
Nothing to do with nobody's watching it.
That's the truth.
Nothing to do with the lack of talent.
Right.
Yep. St. John's 60-58 over Duke. 9:42 to go in the second half.
It's a tight second half.
Yeah, up by
tight
4
game. Now it's a
62-58.
4-point game, and I believe Damon has Duke as his national championship.
He had
in the
Duke
bracket,
as a lock.
Right?
He was screaming Duke a month ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was screaming Duke after he picked Michigan over Duke, and then Michigan slapped him. Duke smacked him around and became a Duke fan.
Right, when he was filling out his bracket, he was going, Duke. Might be gone now. We'll see. A lot of time to go, though. Basketball, it isn't over until you're in the parking lot. That's a wrap in sports. Rick, back to you.
All right, thanks, Slick. And again, Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. Now, a couple of the big main headlines. I guess the big one that broke overnight is, of course, the DHS Senate shutdown deal that the Senate decided to pass at like 3 in the morning and send it over to the House when everybody, of course, is asleep. Well, it's got all the House conservatives raging against this deal. The House Freedom Caucus wants a full year of ICE and CBP funding, plus voter ID requirements added to the bill. None of this, of course, the Senate passed and sent over, and that has not made many people happy, including Speaker Johnson, who basically told the Senate to go screw off. He's not going to address this. Cut number 1. Here's Speaker Johnson addressing the Senate bill.
This gambit that was done last night is a joke. I'm quite convinced that it can't be that every Senate Republican read the language of this bill, and I'm going to just read you one excerpt of it because it's pretty alarming, and it says everything that you need to know in Section 4. This is on page 2 of the bill. This is an actual copy of the bill. That excerpt. It says, quote, "The contents printed under the headings of this bill, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Security Operations, under the heading of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and Protection, shall have no force or effect for purposes of this Act, and amounts specified in the final bill under the subheading Border Security Operations and under the heading U.S. Customs and Border Protection and under the headings of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the Department of Homeland Security shall be zero." We're not doing that. And it is unconscionable to me that the Democrats would force some sort of negotiation at 3 o'clock in the morning and try to hoist this upon the American people and then get on their jets and go home for their holiday and pretend and think that we're going to go along with it.
Yeah, so there you have it from Speaker Johnson. We've got more on this. We'll talk about this and a whole lot more coming out of what's coming out of D.C. when we come back from the break. Fast first hour number 2 on deck on a Pizza Friday night. Saying hello to Jim and Victoria visiting from Maryland. Hey guys, they're in the studio. We'll take a quick break. We come back, hour number 2, live from Studio 6B. Stay there. Chat, live in chat.
You guys take the LIE the whole way out? Oh, the Belt's a lovely road. Followed by the Staten Island Expressway. Oh God! But we don't pay enough taxes. It's exactly. I couldn't have a sports car on.
No, you can't.
So what did you?
Hochul's the worst ever.
After getting over the bridges, how long did it take you to get here?
Hour and a half.
And the tolls,
Now,
the tolls are insane.
yeah.
I stopped working comedy clubs in Baltimore and D.C. because I bet you it's $60 a round trip.
And they still
Probably
can't
more
fix the
now.
potholes with all those tolls.
Yeah, I'm always like, you got to throw in an extra $60, or I'll split it with you.
It's like, and when they do fix a pothole, it's like they use like cookie dough and
toll
Skittles.
on you, huh, Kevin?
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Well, that's the thing.
They use the least PSI.
Well, think about it.
They can.
How do you make sure you have a job forever? You use the crappiest,
Hey, Rick.
It's planned
crappiest
obsolescence,
materials
no
to
doubt.
start with.
And they're all no bid jobs.
Yeah.
The
YouTube.
same two mafia outfits get either. I'm not suicidal.
Luca Brasi, slick. Where did Delgado go for vacation, and how was it? He went to Curacao.
Curacao.
He didn't say how good
I
it
got
was.
some pictures.
He said he was doing drugs on the beach. They
You
coke
guys-
and.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right. That's all right.
Right? You were doing drugs on the beach?
Yeah, of course.
You're trying to buy them.
MST Craig says, leave New York. That's you're a brilliant man. What does that advice cost?
Yeah.
So we'll continue this,
And what are we doing after that?
I can't leave New York.
and then we'll do the Iran
With
update.
this accent, I definitely can't leave New York. I'll be dead. Yo.
If your television sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B.
All right, live from Studio 6B, Aaron. Friday night, Real America's Voice, Dish Network Channel 219, Pluto TV 240, Samsung TV Plus 1170, Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Select TV 106. Remember, join us on all the socials: Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter X, Kick Getter, Instagram, just to name a few. And of course, the brand new shiny new LFS6B app, which you can download to your phone or device, and you can jump in the chat there, which is always a good time as well. Lots of great people hanging out there, including Broke Spoke, Sergeant Arby, Creighton Prawat, RD Bull, Kathy's Right, Big D. Looks like he's in there as well. Oh, he takes the night off so he can sit back and make fun of us.
Too sick to go to school,
Yeah.
but healthy enough to play.
Exactly. Commander Mike is also in there, as well as Texas Lady 83. So make sure you join them in the brand new LFS6B Rumble app chat. That's a good time as well. We were talking before the break about the attempt by Senate to pass this BS bill. The Senate passed a deal that would end the 42-day Department of Homeland Security shutdown, citing concerns that the bill fails to fund Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. The House Freedom Caucus said this is garbage, and it's going to withhold its support from this measure until the ICE and Customs and Border are given full-year appropriations. The conservative group also wants voter ID requirements added to the bill. I played the clip of Speaker Johnson railing about the 3 a.m. hose job they got from the Senate. And then, of course, the Senate runs off because, well, they're on vacation now because, well, let's face it, they just take money to do nothing. And why upset the apple cart, right? It's like, well, we're going to continue to get paid and continue to do nothing. Sure. So here we go on vacation. I don't know what to tell you. This is the government that you vote for. Everybody, and I've said this before, everybody thinks their person is great. No. My guy, my lady, she listens to us. She fights for. No, they all suck. They're all terrible, and they all hate you. They just love their job. They love the power, and they love the money. That's it. That's all they want. And they don't care how they get it, and they'll lie to your face and stomp on your foot and kick your kid to take it, because that's who these people are. They're scumbags, just to put it mildly. And let's face it, Jim and Victoria, they know this. They're from Maryland. They've got enough Democrats in their life screwing up their lives. They're in the studio over there, so they can vouch for me, right? Nod your head. See, they're nodding their heads. Don't just take it from me. Kevin saw it too. But this is what these people are, and they're the garbage people, and we need to clear them out. And the only way to clear them out is to say, you know what? Yeah, this has been my guy and my girl. Oh man, I love them, but they suck because they do not want you to have a voice in your own government. They think they know what's better. They think they hold the moral high ground on you and can tell you, oh, by the way, you don't know what you really want. You really don't want voter ID, even though 85% of the American people do. That doesn't matter because we'll make the decisions for you. That's the way these think. Paul?
Look, this is all part of a one world global government. I talk about it all the time. I mean, all the nations that are all aligned with the same corporate banking structure are all on the same page, and it's all the places like Italy, all completely dominated by the IMF and the international banking system. They all run cover for the city of London, and it's Wall Street, and all they do is send out these people like Roy Neville Singham and Soros, and every one of these lunatics will do everything in their power to disrupt the entire nation, a gigantic color revolution, so they can have the regime change they want, and they want to kill the American idea, and they want to kill the idea of people having liberty and being free. They want a one world global communistic system, and it's all done on the ground up and the top down. It is exactly how Marxism works. It's the bottom up morons with the purple hair, trans with Bob wackadoodles, and then it's the corporate structure. Like I said before, the fascists on top and the communists on the bottom have been interbreeding so long. We have a new bastard child. We don't even know how to fight it. So MAGA was it, and we just need MAGA to kind of keep its core together. So
yeah, well, according to Harry Enton, luckily for us, not only is the MAGA coalition sticking together, it's actually starting to grow. So that's a good positive thing. Kevin Downey Jr., what are your thoughts on this?
I agree with Paul. This is all by design. All right. Yep. The people in Washington, they don't care. They run elections once in a while, but it's usually just to kick out the people they're tired of and bring in some new blood that they know they can control. And I was always a big fan of Marsha Blackburn. I saw a picture of her at the airport today at 7:30 in the morning, taken off. Yeah. These people should not be leaving until this is done.
No.
Agreed.
Anyone standing in the way of the Save America Act is a traitor. And
Amen.
Well, I don't know what did they used to do to traitors, Paulie, back in the day.
Walk the plank.
Was it? Did they flog them? Did they hang them?
Yeah, that's it. That's the word I'm looking for. That's the word I'm looking for. And you know what? I firmly believe we're going to win this. I firmly believe there are going to be prosecutions right before the midterms, and we're going to see just how evil these people are. And I think that, remember, imagine being Trump having to say, hey, guys, there's this one world government thing going on. No one would believe him because there's so many normies who aren't on board yet. We got to get the normies on board. They decide who wins elections and who doesn't. We need them on board.
Right. Well, that's why I point out the local part of it, the representatives and the senators, because those are the people that, Paul makes great points about, these elite level people, but most Americans have no clue about that stuff. They'll never know about it because they're too busy with their life. But the one thing they do know is who they vote for in their district, who's their representative in the House, who's their senator. And those are the ones you have to say, look, we have to alert those people. Your senator and your representatives, they are doing you wrong right now. And you can tell by the ones who will not vote to pass voter ID, because they know if the real people's vote gets counted, certain people, well, I think we heard President Trump say it last week, certain people might end up that they never won an election in their life.
Yeah,
Very true.
Wasn't there evidence that, what's his name, Franken, the SNL guy who in Minnesota, that back in 2012, it was 500,000 fake ballots that got him in.
Yeah.
Minnesota's been a hotbed for fraud for as long as we can remember.
A long time.
So, Reagan wins in a landslide across the board. The only place he had a problem, Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that either.
Exactly.
Yeah, amazing.
Just suspect.
Speaking of House member who seems to be doing the job that his people sent him to do out of Texas, here's Chip Roy on what the Senate sent over again at 3 a.m. just before they, as Paul said, or was Kevin, who saw Marsha Blackburn running for the airport at 7 in the morning. Here's cut number 2. Chip Roy, check this out.
Hey everybody, it's Chip Roy here from Texas 21, and what the Senate just sent over to the House is so laughably bad, we're rejecting it out of hand. They sent over a bill that's not going to fund ICE and Border Patrol and stand with the great men and women who are defending our country. We reject that. We're going to stand alongside our law enforcement personnel. We're going to have a full-throated debate. We're deciding what we're going to do, but suffice it to say, we need to stand with those who are standing up for us to defend our country. We need to fully fund them. We need to consider voter ID and other things to make our country safer and better. But we're not going to move this Senate bill. We're going to move something better and send it back to the Senate. We have to.
Yeah. So there you have it from Chip Roy. Hopefully going to stand strong and say we're not going to do this. One thing I found out today, though. Remember when we talked about, and this was a few weeks ago when this whole thing started, is the ICE funding is already done through 2029, right? We were told, and that's partially true. Through 2029, I guess 64% of ICE is paid for. It's done. Like the ICE stuff that's getting done now will continue. It's the administrative stuff. The people that are not the law enforcement officers, those are the ones who are not completely funded. So that's how the Democrats are trying to gut them, is if they can stop these people, then those people won't be able to do their jobs. And that's their goal, is to cut out the whole, non-law enforcement people from ICE, the people that make
structural administration,
right, the structure that gets everything done. So that's the part that they're fighting to make sure gets funded.
They'll stop at nothing. It's just crazy.
No, it's insane.
They're really the greatest threat to our democracy is the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And the rhinos.
They're the same thing.
I hate the rhinos more because they pretend to be the good guys.
Yep.
Yeah, wolves in sheep clothing.
Exactly.
At least we know the wackos just call themselves out. We have the people lying right to our face telling us that, that they're straight up. Meanwhile, we know exactly what they are. Give me one discernible difference between Lindsey Graham and Nancy Pelosi. Give me one between Mitch McConnell and...
well, let's see. I can do that, actually. One has bigger boobs, so I can't tell you which one.
It's definitely Lindsey. One likes boys more.
Mitch McConnell's really working on that statue impression that he can do, huh? He doesn't even blink. He's just...
I can't believe what they're getting away with, propping up a dead man. It's Weekend at Bernie's all over again.
Well, think about it. They did it for 4 years with Biden. They were able to do it.
Be honest.
That's true.
Biden looks like a 24-year-old college basketball player compared to McConnell.
You know what I think, Paulie? Okay, Mitch McConnell can't retire because he's owned by China. Dianne Feinstein, she looked like Skeletor. She's like the Crypt Keeper. Like, take her home.
She looked like the mother from the Pink Floyd album.
And she couldn't retire because China said, nope, we need you there every last minute. Every last minute of your life, we need you in there voting for whatever we tell you to vote for. China's behind so much of this, it makes me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insanity. And unfortunately, it's going to continue.
Elections, too.
Unfortunately, it's going to continue until something is done about it. And again, it's going to come down to who's got the guts to pull those levers and get those people that you say, but I like him, but they don't like you. Just come to the fact it's not personal, right? Because they look at us as just, we're in the way.
Exactly right.
They look at us as we're the problem.
We're dirty, rotten, breathing eaters on their planet.
Right. And that's why they hate Trump so much. because he's not one of them.
He is completely restructuring the whole world order. And I'm going to be honest with you, to me, his enemy is everywhere. We talked about the CIA earlier. It's MI6. It's Mossad. It's every intelligence agency that has been hired to support a corporate structure that pays them ungodly amounts of money. The corruption there's no borders. There's no nations. It's just about powerful groups all competing against each other and synergistically with each other.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that you were either you or Kevin said it earlier about I got distracted. All right, we'll take a quick break. I hate when that happens.
Aaron in your ear.
We'll take a quick break. We come back. We'll do some sports. We'll continue this. We've got some updates on the Iran war. More with Kevin Downey Jr. and Paul Nolan as well, with stories they're working on. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Stay there.
Doesn't mean anything in basketball.
You know what other fatigue I have? I have trans and Bob fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
They get away with so much murder. They walk on water. You see that lawyer?
No.
Yes.
We can't show it.
It was awesome.
It's great, but it's curse. Some trans lawyer, it's a chick pretending to be a dude, I think.
Yeah.
Who mixes it up with the judge. And the judge goes, you get to relax. Well, you're just saying that because I'm trans.
Oh, I got to see that clip. I love Rage Bait.
And
it gets it.
The judge is like, you know what? I'm done with this.
Yep.
Gets up and basically...
Did they arrest him, hold him in contempt?
And then she starts to fight.
Oh, my God. Play that clip and put it on silent.
And this Decepticon's going, you fear me because I'm trans. And these big guys just working her up. Just shut up.
And she's yelling, I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. He goes, you can talk, you can breathe.
YouTube's. Delgado, YouTube chat, you're getting a lot of love in the YouTube chat. Randy Smith, Delgado, quit complaining, get back on your little hamster wheel. Let's see, Juicy, Ruby Ivy. Yay, the mothership brought Delgado back.
Yay.
That's for sure. And
I told him, we said you were gone forever, but I was going to see you in 34 years wearing the exact same outfit you left with. I found the time machine.
Yeah, when we heard the story that he dropped you off at the airport.
Yeah.
And you got on with the bus stop or train station, no bags, no nothing. I just thought you were going to like a Queens hotel to do drugs with somebody.
That'd be me.
I wouldn't go to Queens.
I wouldn't either.
Patty Jamcat, $4.99 super chat. Why can't we insist that we stop the paychecks of those in Congress that are putting us all in harm's way?
What was the old Warren Buffett quote? He said something like, I can fix Congress in a heartbeat. Anytime GDP is worse than inflation, you can't be reelected.
Ooh, I like that.
Damon, stop changing your name to my name in the 6B app. You're being a troll. He's typing in the app, this show is so hard to do without Big D. I miss Big D so much. Damon needs to come back, and he's saying it's me. I would never say those things.
He's trolling. He's trolling his own chat.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
He changed his name to me.
Big D, you're better than that.
What a gnome.
He's impersonating me.
Big D, you're
this
better.
is fraud.
He's better than that.
This is worse than Minnesota.
He should have went out to dinner with his beautiful wife.
Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcome back to the program. Slick Rick has got sports. We'll do an update in just a moment. Paul Nolan's got some news. Kevin Downey Jr. has some more news as well. Let's do some sports, shall we? As the clock is ticking down.
Sure is.
In your brackets between Duke and St. John's. It's a tight one, live from Studio 6B Sports. Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. Save yourself some money on some great stuff from the people at MyPillow. Slick, what do you got?
All right, Sweet 16. Here we go. Duke 77-74 over St. Johnny's. 32 seconds to go in the second half, and Boozer is at the foul line, taking a foul shot, so 32.4 seconds there. Michigan right now starting to get some control, thank goodness, because that's my bracket guy. Their lead, Alabama, 62-54, but a lot of time left, 14:49 to go. St. John's, look at them. They were up by 10. Now they trail by 3. Michigan State, UConn, 3 versus a 2. That's 9:45 tip-off, or somewhere there after this game here with St. John's. And then Tennessee taking on the great state of Iowa State, Rick, so good stuff there. NHL, just 2 games in action. Rangers lead the Blackhawks 4-1, 11 to go there in the third, and with a little over 7 to go in the third. Red Wings right now, Kevin, up 3-1 over the Sabres. Red Wings need that game as well. NBA action, Celtics 84-79 over the Hawks, 38 seconds to go there in the third quarter. Good one, Pacers 103-101 over the Clippers, 5:24 to go there in the fourth. And let's see, Raptors 40-31 over the Pelicans, 8:39 to go there. And Major League Baseball, Yankees with another win. Those Yankees keep winning 3-0 over the Giants in Frisco, and the Blue Jays lead the A's 2-1 top of the 7th. Rockies trail the Marlins 2-1 top 8. Braves blanking the Royals 4-0 bottom 7. And last but not least, I want to get to the Frozen Four, if you will. We got a little nobody gives the NCAA college men's hockey any love, right, Paul? We were talking about that earlier today. And Western Michigan, number 4, Western Michigan, 3-1 over Minnesota State. These are all finals. Number 1 Michigan, like the college basketball, 5-1 over Bentley, and then Denver, which is a strong team, 5-0 over Cornell. So that's your scores up to date right now. And we're going to get to the story real quick here. We got this Rooney Rule thing coming up now, and there's a lot of talk about getting rid of the Rooney Rule down in Florida, of all places, right? And Florida Attorney General calling for the Rooney Rule to be eliminated. Kalen Kaler of ESPN.
Well, Slick, real quick, what is the Rooney Rule for people that don't know?
Well, I'm going to get into it. It's in the story. Okay. But the Rooney Rule is obviously where you have to, every team that has a coaching vacancy has to offer a opportunity for an interview to an African-American coach. It's a rule in the NFL. And Florida's looking to get rid of it. Florida's Attorney General is challenging the Rooney Rule and calling on the NFL to suspend it or face a civil rights action. James Uthmeyer sent a letter to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell on Wednesday to express concern that the Rooney Rule, which requires teams to interview external minority candidates for specific positions, is blatant race and sex discrimination, and that hiring decisions should be based on merit only. Let's run cut 9, Aaron, with the AG, James Uthmeyer, talking about this a little bit.
I'm Attorney General James Uthmeyer. Next week, the NFL's annual league meeting begins in Phoenix, Arizona, and the NFL draft is only a month away. Ahead of the annual meeting, my office is sending a letter to the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell regarding the league's hiring practices. Specifically, the use of the so-called Rooney Rule, which requires NFL teams to interview candidates based on race. The NFL's use of the Rooney Rule violates Florida law by requiring race-based considerations in hiring. Florida law is clear. Hiring decisions cannot be based on race, and the Rooney Rule mandates race-based interviews and incentivizes race-based decisions. That's discrimination. We're demanding the NFL suspend the Rooney Rule, and failure to do so may result in enforcement actions against the league for race-based discrimination. NFL teams and their fans don't care about the race of the coaching staff. They want a merit-based system that gives their team the best chance to win. Thank you.
There you go. And they have 2 NFL teams, right? They have the Miami Dolphins and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they have a lot of stake, right? That's
and Jacksonville.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's 3. So they have 10% of the NFL teams are in Florida. So very interesting. Wow. And leave it to Florida, as I said, of all places, right? They would be the ones to do pushback on this. And that's their laws for regular employment hiring. Why should it be any different because it's professional sports? Because the NFL says so? I like the challenge. We're going to track this and see how it plays out. Very interesting. 78-75. Duke is just about ready to put this one away and move on to the Elite Eight. That's a wrap, Rick.
All right, that's a wrap in Slick Rick Sports, brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com, use our code LFS6B at checkout. Kevin Downey Jr. has got some news regarding some stuff he's been working on. What do you got there, KDJ?
Are you guys ready for yet another fatigue?
Please,
Let me guess.
Has it been enough?
Check this out. This is real. This comes from my friend Robert Spencer at PJ Media. He's an author. He's written 31, I think, maybe 32 books on Islam, jihad, and all sorts of fun stuff. This is about a Muslim soldier in our military who, thank God she videotaped this so that now we know, and Hegseth is going to read about it. She said that she will refuse commands if told she has to fight Muslims. Let me remind you that there was also a Muslim soldier at one of the camps who took out some hand grenades and whatnot and killed 12.
Yep.
Now she's like, well, this chick's name is Faria Brewer. They allow her to wear the, what's the thing, the birth control. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They allow her to wear the birth control. It's an OUD. It's an outer uterus device. They're really hideous. And she's quite the salad dodger as well, I must say. And they let her wear it, whatever you want. Go ahead. Now she's like, no, I'm not gonna fight if we're fighting Muslims. Question is, A, would she fight us? And B, can we trust her if we go to war with whatever Iran to even fight at all? Or will she attack us? The big question is, will she be thrown out, or is that going to be deemed Islamophobic? I really believe Hegseth is going to toss her. He came in, he took out the wokesters. Remember, he was in for days.
He's going to get a team of guys to toss her?
Yeah, a team, yeah. Exactly. It's not going to be the SEALs. It's going to be the Walrus team because she's a big one. Throw her out there. But yeah, and she's just, if you see the video, it's horrendous. She's so haughty. Guess who I wouldn't attack? We can't have this. This little experiment of multiculturalism, it doesn't work. Diversity, what do? Diversity tends to be, exploding all around the nation, shooting people all around the nation. They stopped 3 terror attacks. Of course, the religion of peace is just in Michigan in the past, I want to say, 10, 11 months. This doesn't work. And I'm not saying all Muslims are bad. I'm not saying all anything, but you can't take the chance. And I don't know how many Muslims are in our military. What if they all pick a day and say, you know what, today's the day we attack our own people? It's not working. It's not diversity. And you know what they always say, remember what the globalists are selling is diversity. Is you really need it. There's a book called Bowling Alone that proves diversity, it makes people stay at home. That's something they want. They don't want people getting together to talk about, hey, what should we do about these globalists or anything? Diversity works against us in every way, shape, and form. When I was a kid in Detroit, they shipped the kids from the white neighborhoods into black neighborhoods to go to school and vice versa. Not me. I was Catholic. I got to go to my school and not get stabbed. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And it didn't work. Diversity works when it's not forced on people.
Right.
All right. Kind of like.
Well, diversity is not really a strength. They try to claim, oh, my goodness, we're so diverse, it's a strength. No. And I've heard it explained. There's one guy, I forget his name. I'm going to try and find it so I can post it for you guys to check out. He's quite the interesting character to look at. I think I sent a clip to Paul. And you look at him and you think, well, this guy's probably out of his tree. And it turns out he makes a lot of sense. And when he talks about diversity, he talks about it being a weakness because what it does is it divides your population. It doesn't group everybody together. It actually sets out to divide everyone because they are diverse. They don't have the same set of beliefs. They don't have the same set of values. They don't have the same set of morals. So when you have a religion that wants to blow people up using little kids, that's going to be a little different than regular people like us who just all want to have fun, have a great life, take care of our kids, make money, and wake up tomorrow in one piece.
I'm explodophobic.
Yeah, exactly. I think we all are.
Explodophobic.
You need a hat with that.
And we don't need goats.
That was dynamite, Kevin.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Paul Nolan's got some news. We'll do that as well. And, of course, more with you guys. Join us in the chats live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. Stay there.
mean, not that I care, but it would have been nice to see St. Johnny's get you know, have a.
Yeah, it would have been a nice win.
That would have been. And man, they were up by 10.
But that actually helps me out in my bracket because I picked against
were up
St.
by
John's.
10,
I
and they
wanted
just
St. John's to win, but I didn't.
Yeah,
think
I
they'd do
picked it. Yeah, I'm hoping Michigan looks like they're up by 10. I'm hoping they can pull that one out over Alabama. That's going to be some Elite Eight though. Duke and UConn. UConn can beat them, but UConn's got to get through their game tonight.
UConn's a paper tiger.
Yeah, no. But yeah, if you don't mind, Aaron, I'd love you for that.
Well.
That's why it's got about 8 minutes to go. How you guys doing over there? You staying awake? You had a long ride. You rode in today, right? Oh, you poor guys. Good thing you took the hotel.
You got a hotel though,
Wait,
right?
You staying down the block?
You staying at Slick Rick Arms?
Oh, you staying at the Hilton over there? Hilton Garden Inn? That's a nice little place.
That's the other there's an Ace Hardware, but there's an Irish bar there, right?
No.
If you go up the road,
the Hilton Garden Inn, right over here. Oh no, not that place. The Knockouts or whatever it is, round 2.
It's on the corner of that little strip mall.
Yeah, that place.
It's beautiful inside.
Oh, you been in there?
Yeah, it's gigantic. It looks like old world stuff. Beautiful. And the shepherd's pie was fantastic. I had to meet someone out there once, and that's a shame, man.
Thank you. I want to make it. Come on.
What was the line on the St. John's game?
I don't know. Was it 3.5 or something like that?
When they were up by 10, I tried to find the live betting to see if I could take Duke, and it wasn't available.
I don't really look at the line that much on the games.
The rivalry between University of Michigan and Michigan State is very much like, I wouldn't say it's Islanders, Rangers. I would say it's more Mets, Yankees. Like they don't fight like they do hockey. The best thing about going to an Islander Rangers game is there's more fights in the stands.
Oh, God. Thank God that's cooled off a little bit because it was bad.
It was.
It was bad, especially in the 90s because the NHL was so violent in the 90s. And the up to like 2007, that's when they started, right? It was 2009 when they started.
The line was 6.5, Paul.
6.5?
What was that? Islanders Rangers? That's
They're just saying like how violent the NHL was really from the 90s to like 2009. It was the Islander Pittsburgh game.
Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcoming you back to the program. Kevin Downey Jr. is here. Slick Rick has got some more sports. We'll do an update. He's got another game that's ongoing that's affecting everybody's brackets. So we'll cover that in the next sports breakdown. But right now, let's go to Paul Nolan. Paul Nolan's got some news. Paulie, what else you been working on?
Well,
my friend?
John Solomon did it again. Zelensky's government conspired with Biden's USAID insiders to launder $200 million in American taxpayer dollars straight into Joe Biden's campaign and the DNC through layered fake infrastructure schemes between the domestic weaponization of intelligence agencies against Donald Trump and the outright foreign collusion to rig our elections. The treason just keeps getting worse. This raw election interference as your money was funneled back to rig the election against President Trump while Biden and his cohorts called you threats to democracy. I got John Solomon. Let the big man do his thing.
But we're going to cover one thing we broke overnight. A lot of you probably heard about it over the course of the day. The United States government, the National Security Agency, intercepted conversations of President Zelensky's government in Ukraine in 2022, late 2022, conspiring with federal workers at the USAID to come up with a plan to take $200 million of USAID money. That is your money, folks, taxpayer money, route it through a series of transactions, move it into the United States, and launder it into Joe Biden's 2024 campaign and the Democratic National Committee. We have the intercepts for the first time. Tulsi Gabbard's team was willing to declassify them. There is now an investigation underway, beginning with USAID, to look at who was involved, whether any crimes were committed, and if that is the case, to refer that to the FBI in the next few days.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, right? And meanwhile, they'll tell us that all the Democrats will say, oh, my God, USAID is being defunded. Thousands and millions and gazillions of people are starving around the world. No, the Agency for International Development has nothing to do with that. It's a BS front, and they're nailed. It's just like the National Endowment for Democracy. NED is another scam that's a way for the globalists and the communists and the Democrats to funnel your taxpayer money. Taxes theft. Don't forget it. Everything we pay is a lie.
Yep. And did you hear it? Now, Zelensky knows he's busted because today he came out and said, I would like to help the United States fight Iran. I want to help now.
Yeah. He keeps saying that, though.
It's like,
he's unbelievable.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna bring over our stuff?
Yeah.
I know.
So we can use it?
Yeah. And he's been busted with how much black market arms dealing and how much money he's funneled. And now Viktor Orban is saying, you have that? Because I have that story, too. I have the clip.
Go ahead.
No, run with it.
No, I don't have it.
Oh, so
I was just going to chime in something. 3 members of Zelensky's cabinet have been busted for walking off with money.
Yeah, really? It's crazy. How about the
Sounds like our government.
Right. Abrima Abramovic, the lunatic Satanist who had all that crazy bloody child porn work, was like the czar to help lost children of Ukraine. How is that not front page news?
Your head explodes from that.
It's insanity. This woman has been a known satanic lunatic.
Oh, my God.
You know, the whole world's going on. But if you want to just play this clip, we can do it silently. Viktor Orban is... it's got subtitles, but just put it up for a clip, just for...
Tegnap kiderült, hogy Zelenszky elnök az amerikai elnökválasztáson...
He's making it very clear that Soros and USAID and all these NGOs have funneled money to do everything in their power to kill his election and anybody in Europe who's standing up to globalism. We've seen it in Germany, we've seen it in France, we've seen it anywhere people are rising up against this globalist agenda. So good for Viktor Orban. He's another guy who has absolutely no fear whatsoever going against the machine, and he's an ally to freedom and liberty everywhere.
Yeah. Now my question is, what happens now? Right? Like what? So now what? Now that, according to John Solomon, he's seen it. The U.S. intercepted these Ukraine government messages. They have the information, right? What happens? Why isn't that front page news? Why isn't Zelensky being? Why aren't we sending in troops? Overnight to do a Maduro? Pick them up, bring them to the U.S. because you are under arrest.
I love it.
Because there's no other trying to overthrow the U.S. government, a foreign power trying to overthrow the U.S. government. I think we've seen this before in China. Why isn't something being done about this?
Well, because to me, the old guard, the international order of an empire of England and the banking elite there, they're just a machine that's been in power for 300 years. And those banking families and those royal families have had so much more control than people realize over the globe and never gave it up. So for me, I think we're watching the dismantling of the global order. We're watching Trump tell the UN to go F off. We're watching him to tell the World Economic Forum to stuff it. We're watching him tell Klaus Schwab and all his "you'll eat nothing but bugs and like it" to go F off. And he's recreating the full structure of how global trade is done. And he's making it very clear that not everybody's our enemy like it was in World War II. We're going to have global commerce, and we're going to have it over chaos, and the endless fear-mongering and is coming to an end, in my opinion. I really think a year from now, like KDJ said it best, right before the midterm elections, there will be many October surprises, so to speak, and I think Trump knows what he's doing, and if he doesn't, all right, I was hopeful between now and then. I'm going to remain optimistic. I don't care. I'm going to trust that his ego and his legacy mean more to him anything else, because we do know that, the man is transactional and he wants his, he wants to make his money, of course, but he wants America first.
All right. That being said, has someone shown him this information?
He had to. John Solomon is
right. John Solomon is getting it. He's getting it from Tulsi Gabbard because of DNI. So why hasn't anyone asked him, hey, Mr. President, have you seen this about Zelensky in Ukraine? What are you going to do about it? Why isn't the press asking him that question? And why does he need to be prompted from the press to even have an answer for that? He should be raging about that. He should be jumping on TV tonight saying, look, we're going live. I got to talk to the American people about this.
You know, at the very least, Sleepy Joe did it again. We watched and we uncovered another one of his, scams. Yeah, I get it. But, I can't speak for Trump, and I don't think anybody else can. But he knows about it, and I don't know how he's using the leverage. But I do know that, I really believe, like Dr. What's his name?
Vinny Boombots?
Yeah, Dr. Vinny Boombots. You know my doctor. I just think that way we watch Dr. Oz uncover fraud. Everybody across the board is uncovering fraud. People are talking about the Strait of Hormuz getting control by the U.S. and taken away from the Lloyds of London. I just think that there's so many pieces moving. I just think it's all going to come out one day in the wash. But I have to stay optimistic, because if I don't, I know. We know exactly what's over. It's global governance, Agenda 2030. We're all screwed. Got to remain optimistic. Otherwise, what's the point of getting out of bed in the morning?
Right. All right. Well, you know what? Speaking about optimism and fraud, I've got a story for you. Pay attention. This is from the New York Post. As Vice President J.D. Vance, he did an interview on the Benny Johnson show, and he claims that he made some nice statements here. One against Ilhan Omar, saying she defrauded the U.S. By what she's been up to. Also, he's got some other allegations and some other things that he talked about in terms of allegations that have dogged the Congresswoman since even before her House campaign in 2018. Let's see. Let me find this real quick for you, because I know you're going to want to hear what J.D. Vance has to say. Cut number 4. Here he is talking about Ilhan Omar, his opinion, and let's see if it agrees with yours. Cut number 4. Check this out.
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out, is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people? There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? Yes. I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about, what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Yeah. And great questions. But the fact that he's actually saying that she's committed immigration fraud by marrying her brother, that should be enough to say, you know what? That's not much investigation we have to do. We kind of know this. So let's deport her for now. Scoop her up, deport her, get her out of the country, because let's face it, she's here illegally. If what they're saying is true, that they have the documentation that says she committed immigration fraud, and he said definitely committed immigration fraud, not suspect, innocent until proven guilty immigration fraud, sometimes immigration fraud. No, definitive committed immigration fraud. Well, then scoop her up, deport her. She can go back to Somalia. She's got a country to go to. I'm sure she might have a couple other brothers there she can hang out with that maybe she hasn't married yet. And until they figure out, what she wants to do. If she wants to bring a case, she can bring it from Somalia. That's her prerogative, right?
Yeah.
Islamophobia.
No.
No, that's what they're going to say.
Yep. No, incestophobia. That's what I'm going to claim. Right? Because let's face it, why does she need to be here? She's not supposed to be here.
It's just amazing. We talked about the CIA earlier. The CIA was fully involved in bringing all the Somalis in to destabilize a part of Minnesota. The evidence is overwhelming. It's there, and we see it all across the globe. I don't know if we have time for this. I have a quick clip.
Hold on. I got another one from J.D. Vance.
Go for it.
So let's finish up J.D. Vance. We'll come to you after the break here. Here's J.D. Vance talking about another part of the illegal alien story. Cut number 5. Check this out.
You're going to release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files. And then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that. But I've still got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files. I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it, but I am going to. Trust me, I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this. And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me,
gotta go to
anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Hangar 18, right? I've heard that as well. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov. We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Demons?
So there you have it.
Demons, huh?
They're demons.
They're Democrats?
Yeah, pretty much.
They look a little green gargoyles.
Very good. We'll take a quick break. You know what? Make fun. Now the vice president is talking about it. President Trump has talked about it.
His truth is marching on.
Yeah, exactly. And so are you. All right, we'll take a quick break. We come back. Final segment of the show. Go around one more time and do another sports update as well. Live from Studio 6B
Martian law.
on a Friday night. Stay there.
Delgado on 1 chin down, 2 to go. Down to 202, baby.
Nice.
10 pounds to go before I'm just chubby.
You haven't drank in like 60 days.
Yeah, 45 days.
Wow.
45 days.
I didn't even think about it either. I've only twice we were at the big steakhouses. And, a martini goes with a steakhouse. It's the only 2 times I was tempted.
That's good.
Yeah, it's something you think about it.
I do it every year. More bourbon for us, right? And KDJ, more bourbon for us.
Yeah. Oh,
what?
Spy Trail.
I tried their. It's not available yet. I had a prototype.
Oh, you get. How do you get these deals?
Gin. The gin.
Oh, gin. Yeah, I'm looking for a good gin.
Yes, try it's so.
Gin Ricky. Oh, yeah.
I've always said there's 2 types of gin. There's the old man gin, and then there's like the floral bouquet kind of gin. And I like both for different reasons.
I like the floral bouquet.
Yeah, but this is right down the middle.
Summer
of both.
solstice. Yeah.
It's not too
so
juniper.
Gin is actually vodka, but made with a juniper bean. Is that what a juniper bush or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Gin makes me nasty though.
Gin,
I don't know what it is. Yeah, I like it though, but man. Ooh.
Come with a pair.
Really? You turn into a jerk on gin?
Yeah, I think so.
We need to feed him some gin.
We should have a gin night. Yeah.
I gin him up. Yeah, beef eaters, baby.
I become an animal without it.
Oh, okay.
Just give me
Kevin,
booze.
you can go across the whole
Give me my gin.
Instead of Slick Rick, it's going to be Slick Prick.
Wait, isn't that already?
That's true.
I like that one too. That was
He's usually that way with me anyways.
Never.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
The unprovoked attacks I get from him.
Oh, I know.
It's just quick.
Oh, so you because I wasn't around.
Yeah.
You were bearing the
His
brunt.
poor wife's like abused and stuff.
No, no, she's not. Don't say that, please. That's all I got to hear. She'll change the lock on me.
Again.
See? Look at this. It's passive aggressive over here.
That's funny.
Okay.
That's
But
enough.
we just got to get. How about this? If we get 10 new people to download the app, we'll do it.
How are we going to know that?
Because you got a system, you got algorithms. Well, Damon's in the chat under the name Miss Ruth Busby. To find.
from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. Final segment on a Friday, fast-moving Friday night show, Pizza Friday. Welcoming Victoria and Jim, visiting from the great state of Maryland. Right, Slick? We love Maryland.
We love Maryland.
Exactly.
The great state.
But we
Crabs
love
and all.
We thank them for coming down and visiting us.
Thank you.
Slick Rick has got some sports. Paul Nolan and KDJ have news as well. Let's kick it off with some Slick Sports. Brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. Slick, what do you got?
All right, Sweet 16 winding down, getting ready for the Elite Eight over the weekend, and Michigan is up 79-67 with 5:23 to go in the second half there, looking to take it on. And then Duke has passed St. John's earlier tonight, 80-75. Coming up at 9:55, Michigan State taking on number 2 UConn. Winner of that will play Duke in the Elite Eight on Sunday. And then Tennessee and the great state of Iowa State, number 2. They got a great team. They're taking on the winner of the Michigan-Alabama game, which could very well be Michigan, I'm going to say. So we'll see. Good stuff there. And NHL action tonight. 2 games in the books. Rangers 6-1 over Chicago. And the Red Wings, Kevin, 5-2 over the Buffalo Sabres. So good stuff there. Women's NCAA basketball. Number 1 UCLA, 80-56 over Minnesota. That is a final for the fraud state. And they are out. They got eliminated by UCLA. California, another wonderful state, if you will. And we got to talk about this now, guys. There's a trend here with these foreign baseball players. And foreign-born players, it's the lowest percentage since 2014 that they've been in the league. This is an AP report out of New York. The percentage of players born outside the 50 states in Major League Baseball dropped to its lowest level since 2014, while Japan's 14 were its most since 2010. There were 247 players from 16 nations and territories outside of the 50 states among 948 players. You're following all this? On opening day active rosters and an injured and restricted list. The commissioner's office said Thursday the 26.1% was down from 27.8 last year and the lowest since 2014. The high of 29.8 was in 2017. This year's total represents a drop of 23 players from 2023 when 270 set the high for a season with a 26-man active roster. You know, baseball, it's all about the numbers, the whole game. But very interesting to see. There's a slight trend of drop players, which means more of our American ball players are coming up. The draft, you're seeing a lot of college players coming out of there, and less from some of the other states. Curacao actually has a very good minor league system. And they have some great ball players in Curacao, where you just came from, and of course, South America. But now the trend is changing a little bit. So I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with the immigrations, but it is an interesting trend and funny that's coming up at this time. And that's a wrap in sports. Rick, back to you with 7 to go.
All right. Very good. Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow, LFS6B. That is the code to use at checkout. Make sure you use it. Kevin Downey Jr., also known as Kevin Downey Jr. from the Kevin Downey Jr. radio show on 103.9 LI News Radio, linewsradio.com. Kevin, what's your final story on this Friday night?
Well, actually, I have a question. The new supreme leader of Iran, rumored to be a homosexual, can we call him the gay of Hormuz? No, let's do this.
You mean the gay Ayatollah?
The gay Ayatollah. Let's do this. We were talking about Somalia earlier. Aaron, can we do clip number 12, please? This is Stephen Miller, as concise as you can imagine, just dropping bombs on Somalia and how America feels about it. And I'm telling you, I think Somalia, I think that's going to be, the straw that broke the camel's back. Can we watch that one, please? This is amazing.
Minnesotan who works as a lineman or works as a construction worker, works in any job that requires hard work, dedication, focus, who's worried about his ability to support for and provide his family. And then imagine that he has a neighbor who's a Somali refugee who arrived 2 years ago and has a Mercedes and no financial stress and no worries at all in the entire world and never seems to ever go to work at all because he just went to an office in the state, lied on a piece of paper, and got unlimited free money forever for life. That is the system that is being run, and that is the corruption that this task force under the leadership of the vice president is going to demolish. And I'll just...
Yep. You know what? It's too much. It's a trans too far. It's a Somalian too far. It's a fatigue too far. Folks, if you're voting for Democrats after this, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. We don't have to live like this. I have a new piece up right now. It's ranked number 1 on PJ Media. It's called Well, 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 Look Who Woke Up on the Wrong Side of History. It's all about people who vote for Democrats who make this possible, ruining this country. Please check it out, because the more you read, the more Spy Trail bourbon I buy.
All right. Well, thank you, Kevin. And you know what? It's a great point, because let's face it, Miller is a truth bomber when it comes to stuff like this, and he puts it into a way that everybody can identify and understand, which is, it just throws it in your face. This is what's happening to you, and you make a great point. If this is what you're voting for, don't be surprised when you start getting it good and hard. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right? And in this respect, it's them taking your money that you give the government, that the government takes from you in the form of taxes, and giving it away to something you had no say in. So, amazing. Paul Nolan, what's your final bit for the evening?
Well, KDJ, if this should shuck your clams, because it boils my franks.
It sizzles my sushi.
Okay, this is from a Church of England primary school in Lincolnshire, UK. In a recent lesson on world religions, 7-year-olds, non-Muslims, Christians, by the way, were shown a video of Muslims praying to Allah facing Mecca on prayer mats. The teacher then encouraged the kids to have a go themselves, kneeling and prostrating their heads towards the mat in full Islamic style. A Christian dad reported this, and his daughter said, "Dad, we did prayers to Allah today." And he called it coercion, and they contacted the Reform UK MP Richard Tice, who said they're going to look into it. But roll this clip. I mean, if this is not the ultimate indoctrination of a Christian school, this is another example of what you were talking about, KDJ, about just indoctrinating them, and they're starting and they're going further and further with their indoctrination.
Paulie, where is this?
This is in Lincolnshire, UK.
That's the mayor's office.
Folks, I've said 100 times what's going on in the UK will hit our shores in 3 to 5 years.
What happens there ends up here all the time, brother. It's 100%. And I guess the last thing I wanted to show, speaking of wacko, leftist, lunatic judges, Jessica Fehrenbach, there's another leftist judge who released the Water Street murderer 4 days before a triple shooting. The left-wing radical judge, deeply conservative county, let Deonta Rashad Harmon walk free on felony battery charge. 4 days later, he killed a man in a triple shooting on this Water Street in Milwaukee. These activist judges constantly have two forms of punishment. White people bad, people of
criminals
melanin.
Good. Criminals good.
Criminals good. And it's just an endless reverse whiteism. It is without a doubt reverse racism, and it's just it's a plague on society. These people need to be held accountable as well as the criminal themselves.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're just about done, but before we do, I've got the dog video of the week. Yes. You forgot dog video of the week? It's right here. It says dog video of the week. Oh, no.
You're barking up the wrong tree, Delgado. Come on, something else.
That's too bad. It was a great dog video.
Can you find it for us?
Yeah,
we'll save it for Monday.
What about for maybe the after show? We could have it.
No, we can't even have it for the after show. It's impossible. But we are going to, you know what? We are going to do a 10 minutes after show on the app. So if you have the app, make sure you stay logged in. We're going to do 10 minutes extra. You get 10 minutes extra show on a Friday night. So that'll be our little gift to you going into the weekend.
We'll do a topless if we get 100 new signups.
Yes.
An hour.
So and that'll happen in minute number 11. So make sure you tune that in. Thanks again for watching. As always, we salute our military, active and retired, all of our first responders up and down the board, EMTs, firefighters, police, Border Patrol, ICE agents, everybody, TSA, everybody working hard to make our lives as easy as possible. Thank you to everyone on the show. Kevin Downey Jr., make sure you check out his radio show on 103.9, LI News Radio, linewsradio.com. Slick Rick, of course, Paul Nolan doing news. We've got Jim and Victoria visiting us from Maryland.
Get in. Come on, run back.
Fran and Aaron
we have 20
in
seconds.
the booth.
Come on camera.
Damon trolling everyone in the app. And, of course, everybody watching at home, thank you so much for watching on a Friday night. We will see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. Be safe. Till then, peace.
He was hospitalized 4 times for impotency.
Wow.
I mean, we've all had a little too much whiskey.
Oh, but here's
Come
the
on, boys.
concern. No matter what happens, you know where you can find more uranium?
Where?
Uranus.
All right.
You turned into Chuck Barrett? We'll be right back with more stuff.
Look what I just found in the pocket.
Hey, Kevin, that's a good one. Use that one on the show.
Look what I just found in my pocket. I wore this like probably 19 years ago to be the Joker, and I went to the party. You know how
to future generations and Birch Gold's info kit today.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5. It's an all-in-one product, so I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing, there's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products at the X5